The newest OCG set Utility Selection has unveiled a new Ice Barrier Dragon Synchro. You heard me right. Ice barriers are getting yet another Synchro that might just end up being the card that makes the deck 10 times more broken than we had ever seen. Possible? Absolutely. Is that really going to be the case? Only one way to find out. Because the name of this new Synchro is Ekhajar, Descendant Dragon of the Ice Barrier. And I'm probably butchering that first word, but that is okay. That is perfectly okay, because it literally looks like a combination of Trishula and Brio rolled into one card. At least in my opinion, anyway, it does. But anyway, that being said, it is a 9-star Water Dragon Synchro with 3,000 attack, 1,000 defense, and requires a tuner and one or more non-tuners. So, honestly, it's pretty generic, funny enough. All three of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can discard one card, banish 2 cards from your opponent's field and or grave. Excuse me. Second effect reads, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish a card from your hand, return one card in either field or grave to the hand. Third effect reads, if this Synchro Summon card is sent to the grave during your opponent's turn, you can banish one card from your hand at random, field or grave. Okay, let's talk about this for a second, right? Like, let's talk about each effect individually. Starting with the first effect. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can discard one card, banish 2 cards from your opponent's field and or grave. Think about this. The effect is basically Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer with you having to discard a card for cost. Excuse me, meaning that if Kaiku had to discard for cost, instead of inflicting battle damage to your opponent, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer in Go format and even in Edison would be absolutely broken. Because again with Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, if you do inflict battle damage to your opponent, you can instantly banish 2 monster cards from your opponent's graveyard. So for example, if your opponent has Kaiku on board and you're playing, let's say, Black Wings, right? You have double value in your grave. Your opponent deals you damage. They banish both of your values, and now you're staring at your values like, what the fuck do I do now? Only way to put them back into your graveyard is by means of cards like Burial from a Different Dimension, and Return from the Different Dimension. Those are like the only cards that I can think of in Edison that can bring back value and just use them right off the bat. They're like, I think those are the only ones. I could be wrong, but another thing too, And I actually do want you guys to post in the comments below for any like for anyone who is a massive Edison player. Some of the guys in my group chat are trying to figure out like what the real odds are of opening your hand with double black whirlwind in Edison. So if you guys do know the actual odds of that, let me know in the comments below so I can rub it in their face and be like, hey, these are the actual odds. So if you guys do know, let me know in the comments below. But with Kaiku, the aforementioned cost, if you will, is you dealing your opponent the battle damage. Essentially, that's the cost. So with this card's first effect, again, discarding a card, that's the cost, and then just banishing 2 of your opponent's big hitters, just right off the bat, is actually kind of insane. Because if you bring Ice Barrier to, let's say, a white CS, right? And you're up against, I'll say Brandon. Let's just say that. We'll say Brandon as a good example. If you bring this card out going second, excuse me, and you discard, let's say, a card that can revive itself from the graveyard, which I don't think that there are any. I could be wrong, but I don't think there are. Not only excuse me. Not only could you banish 2 of your opponent's big hitters, but by doing so, it breaks their board entirely. That's if you banish cards from the field. If you banish cards from the graveyard, you can literally banish their combo starter and their combo extender, and the whole deck just and the whole deck would just be dead all on its own, which would be very, very nasty. The second effect says that if your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish a card from your hand and bounce a card in either field or grave to the hand. So essentially, this can bring back cards like Droll and Lockbird, cards like Ash Blossom, Call by the Grave. Oh my god, what's another good one? Excuse me. What's another good one? Ghost Bell, Ghost Ogre, Nibiru, Dimension Shifter, even though Shifter is pretty nasty in modern Yu-Gi-Oh. If it was released in, like, if that card was released in Edison, 100% that card would have been banned right off the bat. So it's definitely a good way to recycle your it's a good way to remove the breaks in your hand and bring back your hand traps, bring back your dominance impulses, or whatever you need to stop your opponent, which is kind of a busted effect. And then the third effect says that if this card is sent to the grave during your opponent's turn, you get to banish a card from your hand, field, or grave at random. So if you banish a card from their hand, it is at random, meaning that whatever card you pick, that's the card that gets banished. So if you end up picking their combo extender, automatically they just scoop. They're like, you know what, fuck this. You win. You got the win. Honestly, this card might just be the card that will save Ice Barrier decks for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But to be fair, I think it's better suited as a rogue strategy, mainly because of the fact that you don't really see Ice Barrier decks get played all that much anymore, unless if it was on Master Duel. And I know because I've had my fair share of battling against Ice Barrier decks on Master Duel, and the new, aside from this card being new, the other new Ice Barrier Dragon that we got, I think in the structure deck a few years ago, that one card is nasty. It is nasty. Literally just you get to I think it's you. It's either you add an Ice Barrier monster to your hand, or you special summon an Ice Barrier monster, and one of your monsters gets switched to defense position, which can ultimately stop your plays right off the bat, which is crazy. But to be fair, there are ways to out it anyway. So it's like whatever. So would I consider Ice Barrier decks a broken strategy with this new Synchro? I don't think so. I think because that the new support in the structure became a bit lackluster. I feel like if Konami announced better support for the archetype that wasn't just this, 100% I could totally see it, but it'll be a long time before Ice Barriers will ever become meta. And with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, be sure to follow me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.